And this is the Mercedes-Benz Rangers postgame show on a night where 3 quick lightning strikes in the first period zapped much Ranger hope and further dampened hopes for a playoff spot. Because now the Rangers have only 5 games remaining. Same as the Montreal Canadiens, they remain 6 back. So the tragic number is down to 5. Any combination of points lost by the Rangers or gained by Montreal, and the Rangers will not finish above that cut line and will miss a playoff berth. So a night of importance here on the Garden Ice, and the Rangers fall to defeat 5-1 to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Inside our Delta MSG studios from the Garden, alongside Henrik Lundqvist, I'm John Giannone. That's a tough one to swallow when you consider the way it began, the fact that the Rangers outshot them by a large margin, 40-23. Give Andre Vasilevskiy credit, but yet another night where the Rangers had to have 2 points and get none.
Yeah, it felt like the top players for Tampa Bay was just too good, starting with Vasilevskiy, and then you had the top line from Tampa just dominating, but it felt like they just did enough. They didn't outwork the Rangers. I felt that the Rangers worked really hard. They created a lot of chances, a lot of shots, but when Tampa had to raise their level, they did. And you touched on it. It was a 2-minute stretch in that first period that kind of put the Rangers in a big hole, and they were never able to recover from it. Yeah. And as much as you want to come out and play great in the first period, you can never win a game in the first period, but you can lose a game in the first period. And that's kind of what happened in that 2-minute stretch.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Rangers took 11 of the first 12 shots. The commercial timeout came about 7:50 into the first period, and John Cooper was all over his team, and then the response came just after that during that timeout. Let's hear from the Rangers after the loss. We're going to begin with Vincent Trocheck. Michelle Gingras is in the dressing room after this 5-1 defeat.
Had a good start, and then you give up those goals in the first period. Did it feel like it was just too much to come back from at that point?
I don't think so. I think we worked to get back in the game. Going down 3-0 is obviously a tough hole against a team like that, but I thought we gave it everything in the second, and we pushed hard in the third.
What do you think went wrong in that span of, almost 2 minutes where you just gave those up?
Just a couple mental lapses, I think. Just obviously the one PK, couple penalties, and then a turnover on the first 5-on-5 goal.
Yeah, it really was, as Michael Peca told me, between periods, unforced errors. He said that the Rangers gave Tampa everything they got on those 3 goals. But let's talk about that, because it was 2 goals in 36 seconds, then a minute 9 for 3 goals. So it was only, another one after that. And before you knew it, 3-0, and you're just not often going to come back against that team.
That's the thing. Sometimes you can get away with blown coverage or a misread or a turnover. But when you're playing against probably the best line in hockey, you're not going to get away with it. That's just a fact. And again, we talked about the great start from the Rangers, but then a couple errors happened within 2 minutes, and just like that, it was a 3-0 game. Here, again, I would love Cully to keep skating instead of start reaching. That opened up for Kucherov's first goal of the game. Here we have a turnover, lose the battle in front. That's a 2-0 game at this point. And pretty shortly after that, we have this goal right in front where they just lose the battle. And again, when you play a top line, they're like sharks. You know, if they smell blood, and then they're going to make you pay. So we knew this was going to be a very challenging game for the Rangers. They need that intensity and energy we talked about, and they showed it. It just, when Tampa had to raise their level, they did, and it started with their top players.
Yeah, and the top players all had 3 points on the night. That line of Gensel, Point, and Kucherov, 9 points combined, 3 points for each of them. And then when they needed the save, they got it from the guy who you talked about after the second period, how impressed you are with what Andre Vasilevskiy does in goal. 39 saves on 40 Ranger shots.
Yeah, and he makes it look easy. You know, the way he's very efficient, something I always talk about Igor being very efficient. But on top of that, Vasilevskiy, he's a big guy. And sometimes when you're that tall, it creates holes, but he's very solid. You rarely see him being leaky, giving up goals through his body. It's just the way he moves, the way he competes, his focus. There's a lot of plays like that, with broken plays and puck bouncing all over the place. And when that happens for a goalie, you need to be very locked in mentally and see the puck well. And he's been playing so well over the last couple months now. And this is definitely the right time for them, obviously, to have Vasilevskiy heating up. They're going to be a really tough team to beat when he plays like that.
And he looked like he was getting himself playoff ready with those 39 saves. Well, this was a night where the Rangers gave out the 4th annual Mr. Ranger Award, indicative of the player who best exemplifies Rod Gilbert's career of greatness and excellence in leadership on and off the ice. This year, Jonathan Quick was the winner, the 4th time a Ranger has received the award after Jacob Trouba, Chris Kreider, and last year Adam Fox. Here is Jonathan Quick on that after the game.
I know not the result you want, but before the game, a huge honor for you. You've accomplished so much in your career, but where does this one rank? Because it's a little bit of a different award.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, it's an honor. I know a lot of guys who've won it over the years and what they've meant to this organization, and obviously what he's meant to this organization, the legacy he's left behind. So it's just truly an honor.
Just what it represents, just the leadership on and off the ice. I know the mentorship is such a big part of your career and what you've done, and also the community service aspect. Just when you reflect on your career, does it make you proud to kind of be associated with those attributes? Yeah,
no, absolutely. Right, we're fortunate, right? We've been able to play this game at this league, and you obviously, through your experiences and what you're able to go through, and you look forward to the opportunity to give back. So that definitely means a lot. Yeah.
And what did Judy's words just mean to you when you were hearing them in real time? And
that's so I wasn't aware. It was me. So I, when she said, her husband would have a tough time scoring on this goalie, I thought she was talking about Chesty. But it's truly special. She's a great lady, and just honored to receive it from her. Yeah.
All class Jonathan Quick. I know you got to know Rod real well during your time here in New York, and he was a guy who you just say his name, much less spend any time with him, and a smile goes to your face.
Yes, every time. And he felt like he was a big part of my career. That's what it felt like, because you got to know him so well after games. You came up to the family room after games, and he always came up with his French-Canadian accent, start talking, and always made you smile. Yeah. It didn't matter if you won or lost, but it was about life. It was about, it felt like a family up there, and he set the tone in the way he was, the way he treated everyone, and talking about a Quickie, you can't ask for much more what he's been bringing as a backup ever since he arrived in New York. I'm a huge fan of his game, but even more so the way he, represent, the way he acts around the rink and treats teammates, and they talked about it in the interview, the inspiration and how much he helps the younger players, and he really accepted his role. Yeah. He was a starter for almost his entire career, and now he's making the most of it as a backup here in New York.
Yeah, and he really has been an exemplary teammate, and selfless as you'll find, and truly a well-deserved winner of the Mr. Ranger Award.